Welcome back, guys. Bit more of an update on where we're at with the car. So, still front end still apart. What I've just finished doing today is I've notched. It's where the old rad mounts used to be. I've now notched them back. I'd say almost an inch. I've actually cut this piece of the rail at the front out and have chopped it and basically put it back in. So it's, although it was like factory, but yeah, basically that piece is now about an inch chopped out of it. The engine mount holes have been slotted a bit further back, so I reckon all up I've probably gained about 2 inches. Motor's back about an inch and radiator's forward about an inch, so I'm hoping that gives me enough clearance for the radiator and thermos in there. I'm not sure if I showed you this before, but all the holes that were currently in the firewall are now sealed up. Some are welded, some are not. Well, you probably can't see these ones up in here. I've still got to paint the inside, but yeah, the 2 big loom holes that go into the fender wells, that's where the old loom goes. I've sealed both of those up so I don't end up with a foot full of water. Yeah, new rubber grommet for the headlight wiring loom and for the engine wiring loom to go through. The fuel regulator is mounted. Excuse the messy wiring. It looks like a pigsty at the moment and it looks a bit messy, but it will be tidied up. I've just left it a little bit more exposed like this, basically until I get everything in and get everything working, make sure everything's correct before I start kind of cleaning it and tidying it up and sort of isolating it all and separating it so that it is a bit neater. I don't want to go bunching everything up and putting zip ties and things on if there's going to be anything that I may need to change or what have you. So yeah, it does look a little bit messy, so just excuse that. But basically, yeah, the tail light and fuel pump loom, everything runs down the side here now, up round into the mess. There is a panel bolted up to the back there with all the fuses and relays on that. These are all the plugs and everything like that for the dash, which is this here. The power steering pump is now mounted in here. So I now have the wires up here for the power windows. There is an LED light strip along the front here that you sort of don't really notice, but that is the interior light. Yeah, this switch panel up here, I've obviously painted it and relabeled it, just cleaned all that wiring up. So all this wiring now goes through and is all sort of tucked, whereas before. The battery is now mounted. Those battery braces, it's nut inserted to the floor. Probably one of the best battery braces you could use, to be honest. It doesn't have a clamp over the top, it sort of holds it down. Yeah, I've obviously got the wiring here. That's the main power harness cable, that comes running in here. They'll go to the isolator switch. Got the battery posts up there. Yeah, made to bought some bit of a fandangle bloody bracket for this pump to sit on to yeah, make sure that was all sturdy. But yeah, that should be all good. Now, earlier today actually, I came out to start getting everything sorted to do the lower rad support, and I hear this big bang, and I turn around and my BMX that I'd had hanging up on the roller there had fallen and has dropped the fork legs straight onto the roof here and has dented the roof. It's not horrible. It really annoyed me, which means now I'm probably going to paint the car before anything. I'm just going to end up filling those little spots and rubbing them back, but yeah, got a little nice dent in the boot here. Basically landed up here like this, bounced down and fell down here. Now, although I'm really annoyed about the dents, I was going to paint the car anyway, so I will have to fix them. One thing I'm really thankful is that rear window, because as you can see, there's like scuff marks. There's actually a scratch here from something. That the rear window didn't get smashed, because had the fork leg or like anything just tapped that back window, would have smashed it to smithereens. I'll show you some parts that we've got. We've got the clutch here. So I've already fitted the throwout bearing onto the clutch, but we have brand new genuine clutch fork, ARP flywheel bolts. This is Winchester Automotive. So this guy contacted me on Facebook, and he sent me the clutch fork, clutch spring, and the clutch bolts, the clutch fork retainer bolts. So this is the little hinge bracket bit. Genuine parts. So yeah, if you need anything Toyota related, hit that guy up. He seems to have most of those little bits pretty reasonable price too. We have spigot bearing and clutch alignment tool. What else have we got? So it is a 6-puck ceramic clutch, and then under that, let's see if I can do this without dropping everything, is the flywheel. I'm not going to get it all out because it's all kind of tucked away in there nicely, but I've got bloody grease in my hands. But yeah, so that's the clutch that I will be running. Now, reason for running a puck or button clutch, as you would call it, and not a single or twin disc, sorry, not a twin or a triple disc, is basically, after talking to Scott Miller about his setup, he used to run an R154, and basically as soon as he went to a twin plate clutch, he blew his R154 to bits. So yeah, pretty well this will be the weak point. It may not hold for, I mean, I'm not going to be running bulk power, but it'll hold enough. This is rated for the power I'm running, but essentially the clutch will sort of almost be at its limits, so they may not last as long as I would like them to, but I would rather replace a I don't know how much the discs are individually, but let's just say for argument's sake it's $500 for a new disc. I'd rather replace discs and keep the clutches fresh than just smash a gearbox to smithereens and have to upgrade a gearbox, because if it's just going to blow it every time, then there's no point in really going down that path. So basically, yeah, that's the reasoning for this clutch. New 20-ton shop press is it all fitted. I've already used it once to straighten some steel out. But yeah, so everything's sort of ticking along nicely. Motor's sitting over here, getting ready to have the flywheel and everything, clutch and all that sort of stuff put on. I'm just waiting for the actual clutch bolts to bolt the clutch to the flywheel, because I sort of realised as I kind of ordered everything and got everything ready, I realised that I didn't actually have the bolts to bolt the clutch to the flywheel, so couldn't find any OEM ones, so I ended up just getting some ARP ones, and the quickest they could get here was about 2.5 weeks, so got about a week and a bit wait till they get here. So I basically wait till they get here, and then clutch and everything will go on. So I'm just trying to work out where I want to put these, and I'm looking like I might continue with this hole that's already here for the top one. I reckon the next one I might do like side by side, so they're like that and like that. I reckon that's probably the best. Now obviously want to make sure that these are all going to be in the good spot for everything to bolt up. And it is looking like that will work, probably the best. It also gives me enough line to go from here up to here. I'll get this first one in and inside, I think, for both of these, but I'm just going to double check that this one, where this one should go. I reckon that's probably the spot. As I thought, I am going to have to go from the inside because it is double laid. It's like a double skin on it, so bear with me. There you go. Now, I'm not going to claim me filming me doing stuff because what I do, drill 2 holes. But yeah, those 2 fittings there, that'll go up and they'll go run underneath here, down and around. I do have one line pre-done from the other car, which is obviously where the pump came from, so I might whack that line in. So that's what we've ended up with. Still got to get a fitting for here. Obviously I can pull that a little bit closer when the time comes, but yeah, basically that'll go to there. This line, they both feed off the same points, tucked up in there nicely, so if the engine does happen to sit back here quite a way, it's not going to touch on them. All around here, away from the steering column. Yeah, basically meet down here perfect, so I can obviously move this line up and down a little bit as needed to put it where it needs to go. But yeah, that's it's all looking pretty good, really. Well, lashed out, went and bought another set of jack stands. Got a bit annoyed at this thing just sitting on the ground and not being able to get underneath it, so we now have a floating Sylvia. Which is good, means I can get up underneath and get some shit done. Alright, here we are, just about to put the flywheel on the back of the motor and somewhat get this clutch kit sort of sorted out and get it ready, so tomorrow after work I'm going to drop the motor in the car for good. As you can see, now have a turbo manifold. The wastegate flange will be cut off and I will put a V-band a little bit further in, and this monstrosity, whatever that is going to get cut off and a proper one put on. Now it is just a bit of a homemade manifold I got for about 150 bucks. So yeah, nothing over the top, but we now have a manifold, which is good. The rear firewall has been installed. While I do this now, I've just got the wire wheel in and just given in here a bit of a tidy up because it was a tiny bit of surface rust in there, so I've just cleaned that up so it's nice and fresh. Put the spigot bearing in, and then we'll get the flywheel on and yeah, see if we can't get the whole gearbox assembly all bolted up tonight. See how we go. I'll find somewhere for you guys to sit, see if I can get you to stay. Bear with me, I'll put you somewhere. So we've got flywheel bolts, so we're needing those. Now it comes with assembly lubricant, but I won't be using that because we'll be using some Super Thread Locker Loctite, because we do not want these bad boys coming out. So keep that assembly lube for another day. So yeah, we got the 263 Loctite we'll be using. I'm just going to put all this down here. Now what I'm going to probably end up doing is, so we've got the clutch bolts as well. What I'm probably going to end up doing is trying to get all this on tonight, but we'll see how we go. Bloody ripped the shit out of my finger on the bloody jack handle before getting the car off the jack stand. Alright, so I might just prepare myself and get everything ready, and we'll come back. I think I might just put a little bit of anti-seize on the spigot bearing before I knock it in, just for a later date when I want to change the thing. It will actually still come out. Just going to put some normal grease on it, but I think a little bit of anti-seize is probably the way to go, seeing as though that's its intended purpose. Believe it or not, I think that's the first spigot bearing that's ever been put in this engine. Back to what we were doing. Bloody beautiful. That's what you want. Thread locker. Because we do not, under any circumstances, want these out until there is a new flywheel getting put on, and we will not be using them again. Couple of quick hugger-duggers, never hurt nobody. Right, now the fun begins. I guess we'll start at the top. Oh god. Hit this. With a good whack of brake clean. That's fresh microfiber here. What I'm going to do, put some spline grease here. I'll use that on the spline first. Shit, you can see all the crap. Righto, on you go. actually. I've done this 6 times now, and I'm going to continue to do it. Because I don't want to miss anything, putting everything together. Way too much. Just need a little bit of grease around this. Let's go. Let's go. Good idea to have everything on a wheelie surface so it moves around as much as possible. Now, clutch disc. So as you'll see on here, clutch gearbox side, so that means it goes, no, just joking, goes this way. Alright, here we are about 5 minutes later. Probably could have been recording, but thought it was going to be a bit more difficult than it was. So it's all mounted. I've just got to do a few more bolts up. I've just done these top ones for the minute. Then I'm going to jack her up so I can get underneath and get the others. But pretty much brand new starter motor from a GS300 that I had. And they just so happen to be the same. So basically what's got to happen from here bear with me a minute here guys, because so now here we are, as you've noticed. Clutch disc isn't on the car anymore, and that is because apparently that's the Toyota way to do it. But in true fashion, that seems to be the hardest way that I could even possibly think that you would want to do it, because I could not get anything to even remotely line up. So I'm going back to the old-fashioned way, which is something like this anyway. Like that. So that was taking me, I was there for a good 15-20 minutes, stuff arsing around with that, trying my best. It wasn't working. Back to the other GoPro. Let's see how long this one lasts. We're going to get this gearbox back on. It's going to be a pain in the arse, I can see it. But it's come this far. Ready? I just need something to bloody prop up under there. We're almost bloody home and hosed here. That was nice and simple. I'm just going to whack a couple of these in. It's alright, the GoPro's going to die pretty soon, but if it does, we'll piece out and end this here. If it dies at a weird spot. But yeah, basically this is where we're going to be at for tonight. I'm probably just going to end up finishing bolting this up and kind of push it aside, push the car back in tomorrow when I get home from work. This is going in and it's staying in. It will not come out again. We'll bloody better not anyway. So yeah, we might just end that here, and on that note, we'll peace out.